Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Ole Miss to offer medical marijuana master's degree, educating the workforce will lead to more informed consumer. China struggles to convince Somali mourners of reason for death. NSW minister accuses Liberal MP of baseless sexist attack after questions about husband. In Israel-Gaza war, recycled images from past conflicts can undercut true toll. China is winning in solar power, but its coal use is raising alarms. Ole Miss to offer medical marijuana master's degree, educating the workforce will lead to more informed consumer. Yahoo! The University of Mississippi is launching a 2-year online course focusing on medical cannabis and dietary supplements. The curriculum will be split into 2 distinct sections, the first focusing on dietary supplements and the second on medical marijuana. The program is aimed at those already working in the sectors, but will also offer entry-level positions. The first year will focus on dietary supplements and the second on medical marijuana. Each leg of the program will include 5 courses and begin with general history and then move into pharmacy and toxicology. The program is expected to receive full accreditation by the end of the semester and is expected to accept its first students next fall. China struggles to convince Somali mourners of reason for death. Bloomberg. As China prepared to cremate former Premier Li Keqiang on Thursday, its leaders were struggling to convince everyone in his hometown to accept their version of how he died. A number of mourners in eastern Anhui province this week expressed doubt the former number 2 official died of a heart attack, the reason given in a government statement Friday. Li found himself sidelined by President Xi Jinping before exiting the Politburo Standing Committee, China's most powerful body, a year ago, despite being young enough to stay on. While the health conditions of senior leaders are always treated as a state secret in China, no evidence has emerged to undermine the Communist Party's account of Li's death. The Politburo praised the former premier as the time-tested and loyal communist soldier in a statement last week, suggesting he hadn't fallen from favor. Li's death comes as a series of unexplained oustings in China's leadership create a heightened sense of mystery around the party. NSW minister accuses Liberal MP of baseless sexist attack after questions about husband. ABC. New South Wales Finance Minister Courtney Houssos has accused a Liberal MP of sexism over questioning of her husband's role at a peak insurance lobby. Coalition MP Damien Tudhope questioned the minister in budget estimates on Thursday morning on whether her husband's role at the Insurance Council of Australia constituted a conflict of interest. In Israel-Gaza war, recycled images from past conflicts can undercut true toll. New York Times. Misinformation is being spread online about the conflict in Israel and Gaza, with images and videos of past tragedies being appropriated to illustrate the current situation. The images and videos are being used out of context, and people are using them to illustrate the brutality of conflict in a way that could undermine the current reality. The footage of a small boy crying for his sisters in Gaza, for example, was actually filmed in Syria nearly a decade before Israel's bombing campaign in Gaza. The misappropriation of these images and videos raises deep moral questions about revictimization, or forcing survivors to continually relive their pain. However, posts that clearly distill a particular moment are successful because they appeal to the emotions of viewers. The introduction of misinformation could give people reason to reject or ignore evidence of atrocities more broadly, which is a concern for human rights experts who rely on visual evidence to build a case about human rights abuses. China is winning in solar power, but its coal use is raising alarms. New York Times. China's rapid expansion of renewable energy is causing concern in Washington, as the country continues to build new coal-fired power plants. Although China is installing as many solar panels and wind turbines as the rest of the world combined, and is on track to meet its clean energy targets 6 years early, it is also building coal plants at a pace that dwarfs the rest of the world. China is responsible for a third of the world's energy-related greenhouse gas emissions, more than North and South America, Africa and Europe combined. China's President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Barack Obama began a joint push for climate action a decade ago at the Sunnylands estate in Southern California. John Kerry, President Biden's special envoy for climate change, is now preparing to host his Chinese counterpart, Xie Zhenhua, for climate talks at the same venue. Undercufflers TD with 26 seconds left gives Akron a win over Kent State for the wagon wheel. Associated Press. Akron came back from a 17-point deficit in the fourth quarter to defeat Kent State 31-27 and win the wagon wheel for the first time since 2018. Jeff Undercuffler Jr. threw a go-ahead touchdown pass to Josiah Gathings with 26 seconds left to secure the victory. Akron's Lorenzo Lingard rushed for a touchdown and made a key catch to set up Undercuffler's winning touchdown. It was Akron's first comeback victory of 17 points or more since 2018. Undercuffler threw for 298 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Lingard had 106 rushing yards and a touchdown. Tommy Ulatowski had 3 touchdown passes for Kent State. Couch, predicting Michigan State's basketball season, Duke, Arizona, Baylor, the Big Ten and beyond. Yahoo! Lansing State Journal columnist Graham Couch predicts the outcome of each game in Michigan State's upcoming men's basketball season, from their opener against James Madison through the March Madness tournament. He believes the Spartans will start the season strong, winning their first 4 matchups against James Madison, Southern Indiana, Duke, and Butler. After that, he predicts a loss to Arizona, followed by a win against Georgia Southern. Couch continues to predict a mix of wins and losses for Michigan State throughout January and February, with wins against Wisconsin, Maryland, and Iowa, and losses to Illinois and Northwestern. He concludes his predictions with Michigan State defeating Kansas in the national championship game. Couch's predictions suggest that Michigan State will have a solid season, with a few key losses along the way. He highlights several notable games, including matchups against Duke, Arizona, and Kansas, which could be important tests for the team. Couch also mentions the team's performance in the Big Ten Conference, with wins against Wisconsin, Maryland, and Iowa potentially helping to secure a high seed in the March Madness tournament. Overall, his predictions paint a positive picture for Michigan State's season, with the team performing well and potentially making a deep run in the postseason. Asia's first gay games to kick off in Hong Kong, fostering hopes for wider LGBTQ+ inclusion. Associated Press. The first gay games in Asia, set to begin on Friday, are expected to foster wider LGBTQ+ inclusion in Hong Kong. Organizers hope the event can help bring about legal reforms for same-sex marriage in the city. The 9-day event was delayed by the pandemic and will host around 2,400 participants from 40 territories. Lisa Lam, co-chair of the Gay Games, said LGBTQ+ acceptance in Asia is lower than in the rest of the world and that it is important to make sexual minorities visible in the community. Explainer: Can solar geoengineering stop global warming? Yahoo! Scientists are studying the potential of solar radiation management, SRM, to help tackle climate change. SRM involves reflecting the sun's rays back into space, with a well-known proposal involving the injection of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. While there is some debate about SRM's long-term efficacy, it is supported by some environmental groups and is the subject of a few small-scale projects. Critics warn of its potentially damaging side effects, including the disruption of monsoons and the risk of acid rain. Others fear it could be used by unscrupulous parties to create geopolitical and security threats. Brain power of over 50s dropped during COVID study. BBC. A new study conducted in the UK suggests that the COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative impact on brain health in people aged 50 and over. The study, which involved over 3,000 participants, found that there was a decline in cognitive function among this age group, regardless of whether or not they had been infected with COVID-19. Stress, loneliness, and alcohol consumption were cited as possible explanations for the decline. The study also found that the decline in cognitive function was accelerated during the first year of the pandemic and continued into the second year, particularly for those who already had mild memory problems. The study's authors have called for further research to better understand the impact of the pandemic on brain health. David Mitchell, weekly editor who exposed a corrupt cult, dies at 79. New York Times. David Mitchell, a muckraker whose tiny California newspaper challenged the violent drug rehabilitation cult Synanon and, as a result, became one of only a handful of weeklies to win a Pulitzer Prize, died on October 25 at his home in Point Reyes Station, California, in Marin County. He was 79. Report: Big Ten football coaches urge conference to take action against Michigan over sign-stealing allegations. Yahoo! Big Ten football coaches have reportedly called on the conference to take action against the University of Michigan for an alleged sign-stealing scheme. While coaches have been restrained in public, it is claimed they expressed deeper frustration with the situation during a meeting with Conference Commissioner Tony Petitti. The Wolverines went 22-1 in Big Ten play since the sign-stealing was alleged to have begun. Pandemic had real lasting impact on brain health in over 50s. The Independent. Lockdown and other pandemic restrictions have had a lasting impact on the brain health of people aged over 50, according to a study by researchers at the University of Exeter and King's College London. The study found that cognitive function and working memory declined more rapidly during the pandemic, regardless of whether individuals had contracted COVID-19. Factors such as lack of exercise, excessive alcohol consumption, loneliness, and depression were cited as contributing to the decline. The study analyzed brain function tests from 3,142 participants aged between 50 and 90 over the course of the pandemic. Girl power is helping shape Mongolia's digital future. Nikkei Asia. A coding boot camp for Mongolian girls has ended with the girls presenting their projects to tech industry leaders, government officials, and foreign diplomats. The projects ranged from travel sites and online games to an emergency alert system for women. The boot camp, called Girls for Coding, aims to empower young Mongolian women and provide them with opportunities in the tech industry. The goal is to transform Mongolia into a digital-first country and create a more inclusive tech startup scene. The program was initiated by Bolaerden Batsengel, a well-known tech personality in Mongolia who wants to make space for women in tech. The Girls for Coding program provides tailor-made training in coding for girls who have no previous coding experience. The participants receive hundreds of hours of training from tutors at the National University of Mongolia. The program also invites industry executives to share their experience and insights. The Girls for Coding Boot Camp has been successful in empowering young women and helping them gain confidence. Many of the girls expressed their desire to continue with coding and pursue careers in the tech industry. Mongolia has great potential to become an innovation hub and attract investment in the tech sector. Batsengel aims to spread the word about Mongolia's tech startups and connect them with foreign investors and tech executives. She believes that technology offers Mongolia a second chance to diversify its economy, which has been heavily reliant on mining. With the right support and commitment from innovators and investors, Mongolia's tech startup scene can create a good ecosystem for the future. The Girls for Coding Boot Camp may produce the next generation of creators and disruptors who will reshape lives in Mongolia and beyond. Excitement as the Beatles' final song Now and Then approaches release. The Guardian. The final song recorded by the Beatles, Now and Then, is being released on October 15. The song features contributions from all four members of the group, including guitar recorded by the late George Harrison in 1995 and vocals by John Lennon drawn from the song's original late 1970s demo. The release follows Lennon's widow Yoko Ono handing the demo to Paul McCartney, along with vocals for the tracks Free as a Bird and Real Love, in 1994. These tracks were completed by McCartney, Harrison and Ringo Starr and released in 1995 as part of the Beatles' Multimedia Archive Project anthology. Now and Then was originally shelved due to technical issues, but has been brought up to date using AI technology. McCartney has emphasized that nothing has been artificially or synthetically created for the track. The artwork for the single has been created by Ed Ruscha, while the music video is being directed by Peter Jackson. Well, folks, that's all the news we have for you today. Let's recap what we've learned. The University of Mississippi is offering a master's degree in medical marijuana and dietary supplements. Finally, a degree program that will truly help students chill out and relax. China is struggling to convince mourners in Premier Li Keqiang's hometown that he died of a heart attack. Apparently, they find the official explanation hard to swallow. Maybe they should consult Dr. House for a second opinion. A New South Wales minister is accusing a Liberal MP of a baseless sexist attack after he questioned her husband's role at a peak insurance lobby. Looks like someone's trying to stir up some trouble in the insurance world. Can't they just agree to disagree and ensure peace? Misinformation is spreading about the conflict in Israel and Gaza, with past images and videos being used out of context. It's like someone hit the rewind button on the news. Let's hope the truth comes to light and the real story is revealed. China is winning in solar power, but its coal use is raising alarms. It's like they're saying, we'll give you clean energy, but we'll also keep the dirty stuff just in case. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. Akron came back from a 17-point deficit to win the wagon wheel. I guess they really put the wheel in motion and rolled over their opponents. Talk about a comeback for the ages. Michigan State's basketball season is being predicted, and it looks like they're off to a strong start. Let's hope they don't get too couch-ed and keep their winning streak going. The first gay games in Asia are set to begin in Hong Kong, and organizers hope it will foster wider LGBTQ+ inclusion. It's about time Asia joined the party. Let's hope this event brings about positive change and acceptance. Scientists are studying solar geoengineering to stop global warming, but there are concerns about its side effects. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by flooding the bathroom. Let's hope they tread carefully and don't make things worse. A new study suggests that the COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative impact on brain health in people aged 50 and over. Well, at least we have a legitimate excuse for forgetting where we put our keys. Blame it on the pandemic brain fog. David Mitchell, the editor who exposed a corrupt cult, has passed away. He truly made a mark in the world of journalism and fought against injustice. Rest in peace, Mr. Mitchell. Big Ten football coaches are calling for action against the University of Michigan over sign stealing allegations. It's like they're saying, in football, stealing signs is a big no-no. Leave that to the Astros in baseball. Lockdowns and pandemic restrictions have had a lasting impact on the brain health of people aged over 50. Well, at least we have an excuse for forgetting what day it is. Blame it on the pandemic brain fog part 2. A coding boot camp for Mongolian girls aims to empower them and create a more inclusive tech startup scene. Girl power meets tech power. Let's hope these girls become the future leaders of the tech world. And finally, the final song recorded by the Beatles, Now and Then, is being released. It's like finding a hidden treasure from the past. Let's hope it brings joy to Beatles fans around the world. Well, that's all for today, folks. Remember, stay informed, stay curious, and always keep a sense of humor. And now, over to you. What are your thoughts on today's news? Let's hear your opinions and questions. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.